Hi there, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of the Mathematics Workshop. We're going to be building our mathematical skills through new and innovative ways. Remember, numbers are fun and they can help us to make sense of the world around us. Today, let's see how numbers are important for Mary and David, our two shop owners.
Hey David, how you doing? It's so nice to see you.
Hey, good, Mary. What's going on? How business?
Business is good. Actually, I just stocked up on a few things. But I hear you start a small thing. How to going?
Yeah, man. A little thing. Nothing big for complain about. But you know, the way this corona thing got this world right now, you gotta find some way to make additional money.
Yeah, of course. Alright, it was nice seeing you.
It's nice to see you too, you know.
Have a good day.
You
And
take
good
care,
luck.
right? Thanks,
You
right?
too, bye-bye.
Alright.
These prices for tomorrow. How much you pay for this potato? $80? Alright, I can sell this off for $120. And this smooth milk. How much? $4.80? What? It's expensive. Alright, I'll do $5.20. And this sugar. How much? $8? Alright, $120 man.
They all pound with potatoes.
I got there. $120.
This is a pound potato.
A pound potato? You want anything else?
You anything like sugar?
Yeah.
This is a pound sugar.
$120 as well, right? That good for you?
Yeah.
Alright, good.
I sell this milk.
This milk?
Pricing milk.
$5.20.
$5.20.
Yeah.
Okay, please go on.
Alright, good. I'll set you up nicely. So I initially spent $6.40 and I based on today's sales I make $7.60. Okay, so I make $120 more. That's good. Nice.
Okay. Now I gotta watch. I wonder how Mary would do this. Let me check my receipt so that I can start pricing me item them now for sale. It's blowing in my face and all, so much a breeze. Alright. What? I could barely see anything here. Oh shucks. Anyway, it look like I got potato here for $30. 30, I can sell this back for $50. This milk here, I ain't seeing the price on nothing. It's $4.30, I can sell this back for $4.50. And this sugar, I know for a fact I pay $50 for this. I think. Anyway, I'll sell it back for $70. I got to make some money on those. I got mark it up for $70. Let me see how the day go. Hi, good afternoon.
How you selling this milk?
This milk is going for $4.50.
Can I have the milk?
Yeah, no
what about
problem.
Your sugar? What a pound sugar?
The sugar I got it for $70 a pound. Cheap and sweet.
Alright, give me the sugar. And the potato.
And the potato I got it for $50 a pound.
Alright, John, give me the potato too. You know the children like the potato.
I know though, you better at school open back, you got to make little chips and them things.
Yes.
But don't worry, I got the cheap and sweet for you, everything going.
Good. How much are you?
In total, I'll see $4.50 and $50 is $575.70 for me, man.
Alright, look here, look.
me check this receipt to see if I could see the total. Oh yes, it did. Thank God. Now I could get for how much money I make. Well, according to receipt, I pay $6.40 for all of y'all. So let me count my little sales money. 3, 4. No man, this car right, this car right. This car right. $570? No, something wrong, man. Something wrong. This is even less than I pay for these things. What really going on here today?
Okay, boys and girls, did you figure out what really was going on with Mary and David? How exactly were numbers important to each of them? As we have seen, they both were shop owners, and so they were buying and selling different kinds of items from a wholesaler to sell back to their customers. Let's examine what really happened. We saw that Mary and David bought a set of items from the wholesaler to stock up their shop and then sold them. As the items in the two shops were reducing, they had to restock, so they needed to ensure that they had enough money to buy back goods for their shop. Now, let's go into the meat of the matter. Now, for Mary, after she did her calculation, she realized that she could buy back goods for her business and still had some money left over. Let's see what really happened. So Mary had potatoes in her shop. She paid $80 per pound. She then sold it for $120 per pound. Now, the amount that she paid for it in the first place is known as the cost price. The amount she sold it back in her shop to the customers is known as the selling price. Now, if we take the amount that she paid for it, which was the cost price, from the amount she sold it for, which was the selling price, we would find out that she has some extra money left back. But now let's set it down properly. Remember, for subtraction, the larger number goes at the top. So this is the amount she sold it for. Here we would put SP for selling price. And this is the amount she initially paid for it, which was the cost price. So here we slightly rearrange the numbers. We take the cost price from the selling price. And let's take, if we take 0 from 0, it remains 0. Now, can we take 8 things from 2? No. So we now work with the 12. So 8 from 12, we get 4. Here we see that Mary made an extra $40. This $40 is referred to as the profit. Now, David also had potatoes in his shop. He paid the same $80 per pound. So $80 again is the cost price. But David had a problem. He couldn't see his bills clearly, and he ended up selling his potatoes at $30 per pound. This was his selling price. Now, when we were working out the two prices with Mary's shop, we could have used the selling price to take the cost price. But in this case, remember, for subtraction, you take the smaller number from the larger number. So in this case, can we take the cost price from the selling price? No, we can't. We would have to take the selling price from the cost price. Now, when we take the selling price from the cost price, let's see what happens. Again, we take 0 from 0. We retain the 0. And here we have 3 things to take from 8. Is that possible? Yes. So if we take 3 from 8, if you check quickly, you'll see that we're left with 5. Now here we have $50. But this $50, because David sold it for less than he bought it for, this is considered to be the loss. So if we operate our business like Mary did, by selling an item for more than we bought it for, we would make a profit. The profit is made where the selling price is higher than the cost price. But if we're not careful like David and sell an item for less than we bought it for, we can experience a loss like David did. So just a reminder, whenever our cost price, and in short we say CP, is lower, and remember that SP represents the selling price, we make a profit. But remember, where the selling price is lower than the cost price, remember CP is for cost price, we will experience a loss. So let's visit our 2 friendly shop owners again and check out another item. They both bought moo milk. Mary paid $480 per box. That's 1 box. And remember, because she paid $480, this is considered our cost price. CP is the short for cost price. She sold it, however, for $540. So if you visit Mary's shop to buy a box of moo milk, you will have to pay $540, which is her selling price. Now, let's take a good look at this. Which was lower? Was it the cost price or the selling price? Remember what we said before. If the cost price is lower than the selling price, we make a profit. But if the selling price is lower than the cost price, we will experience a loss. So let's look at what's going on in Mary's shop. Is her cost price lower than the selling price or higher? Yes, we see here that the cost price is lower. So in this case, Mary is bound to make a profit. But can we figure out just like that what her profit is? In order for us to do that, we need to do our calculation. Can you remember which one of the operations we have to do? Yes, we will be doing subtraction. And remember our subtraction sign. So how do we go about doing subtraction? We always take the smaller number from the larger one. So here we can see that $540, which was our selling price, is higher. So we put that first. And now we take $480, which was our cost price. And we do our subtraction. So again, we have 0 from 0. We will just retain 0. Now we're in the 10th column. Can we take 8 from 4? No, we can't. So what do? We go to the number in the hundreds place and we take 1. So here, if we take 1 from the 5, we're left with 4. And here, we put the 1. We now have 8 from 14. So if we take 8 from 14, what would we have left? 6. And remember, boys and girls, you can put down your strokes and your marbles and do your subtraction quickly. Now we have 4 from 4. Now, if I have 4 things and I take 4 things away, what would I be left with? Nothing. So here we can put the 0 just to remind ourselves that it's 0, or we could just know that it's 0, and that would be our answer. Don't forget to use your $sign. So here we see that we have 60 after our subtraction operation. Now remember, this $60 will be considered the profit. And why again is it considered the profit? Because our cost price was lower than the selling price. Now let's see what happened with David and the moo milk he sold in his shop. Now remember, in the first place we said that Mary and David were buying moo milk from the same wholesaler. So he also paid $480 per box. And again, this is our cost price. But remember, our friend David had a problem. He couldn't see his bill clearly. And so he thought that, all right, $450 sounds like a good price. So he sold it for $450 per box. This was his selling price. Now let's look carefully. We have our cost price at $480 and our selling price $450. Can you say what will happen here? Remember, where our selling price is lower than the cost price, we will experience a loss. And let's look at David's prices. His cost price is $480. That's what he paid. But when he sold it in his shop, he sold it for $450. So which is lower? The selling price is lower. It therefore means that David made a loss. But can we figure out just like that how much of a loss he made? No, we can't. For us to find that out, we have to do our subtraction operation. Again, remember, for subtraction, you take the smaller number from the larger number. And here, because $480 is larger, we write that first. That is our cost price. And our selling price, $450. Now we do our subtraction. Again, 0 from 0. Now here we have to take 5 things from 8. Is 8 lower or higher? It is higher than 5. So if we take 5 things from 8, we would be left with 3. 5 and 3 would give us 8. Again, we have 4 things to take from 4. Now if we do that, we would be left with 0. Again, you don't necessarily have to write the 0, but to help us remember, we will show it there. Now, remember, we're talking about money, so we put our $sign. And again, we need to look at which price was higher and which was lower. And the rule, when the selling price is lower than the cost price, we make a loss. So this $30 is considered to be the loss. So let's try another. This time we're going to look at the scenario and try to figure out whether a profit or loss was made, and then we'll go through the steps to figure out how much of a profit or how much of a loss was made. So David had cheese sticks in his shop. He bought a pack for $70, but we already know the problem he had. He sold it for $55. So the $70 is what he paid for it. That was his cost price. And he sold it for $55. That was the selling price. Now, can we say whether he made a profit or a loss? Let's look at the prices. Which is lower? Is the cost price lower or the selling price. Back to our rule, where the cost price is lower than the selling price, we make a profit. But where the selling price is lower than the cost price, we make a loss. So, what's happening here? We clearly see that the selling price is lower, so David is making a loss. Now let's go through the steps to figure out how much of a loss he experienced. Larger number at the top, and here we're taking $55 from $70. So let's go. Can we take 5 things from nothing? No, we can't. So we'll take 1 from our 7. We'll be left with 6. The 1 here we now have 10. So 5 from 10 will give us 5. And then 5 from 6, we're left with 1. Can you say again what this $15 will be referred to as? Yes, this is the loss that David experienced. Now let's see one more item, and I want you to try and figure out again whether a profit or a loss was made before we do any sort of calculation. Mary had in her shop curry powder. This is what your mom used to cook chicken curry. So she paid $35 per pack. Then she sold it for $60 per pack. Now remember, she bought it for $35, so that's our cost price, and the $60 is the selling price. Again, our rule would help us to figure out whether a profit or loss would be made in this situation. Remember, where the cost price is lower than the selling price, a profit will be made. Where the selling price is lower than the cost price, a loss would be experienced. So can we look at our numbers and say which is higher and which is lower, and what would happen here? Here we can see that our cost price is lower than the selling price, and so we can conclude that a profit will be made. But for us to figure out how much of a profit was made, we have to do our subtraction. Remember, larger amount on top. So let's take $35 from $60. Can we take 5 things from 0? And 0 says nothing. No, we can't. We take 1 from the 6, we're left with 5. And we add that to the 0, we now have 10. So 5 from 10, we'll be left with 5, and you have 10 fingers, so you could do your subtraction there quickly. Now we have 5, and if we take 3 from 5, we'll be left with 2. Now, what would we consider this $25 to be? Our profit. Well, boys and girls, did you realize how important numbers can be to us? Numbers can be used to add prices on various items that we buy and sell if we have a business. So even when we visit a store or a shop, whatever they have there, they had to pay a price for it. And then they had to decide what price to sell us at. Now, knowing how to calculate these numbers helps us to determine if we're making a profit or a loss. Remember, we can determine whether a profit or loss is made by examining the cost price and the selling price. And the rule, where the cost price is lower than the selling price, a profit will be made. But where the selling price is lower than the cost price, a loss will be experienced. It's always nice to journey with you as we explore new and exciting things while having fun. To get some more practice, try setting up your own corner shop at home and set prices for your items. Then see whether you're making a profit or a loss by just selling them to the members in your family. That should be some amount of fun for you. So continue to be safe until the next time we meet. I am Ms. Shamsuddin, reminding you that numbers help us to make sense of the world around us. And we'll see on our next edition whether David was able to turn his loss into profit. That's all for now.